Correct. I'm having a Chinese tea. Always when I do some talks or when I talk to my students, we serve tea and drink tea is like a tradition in the Chinese. To the Kung Fu, and I found the Shaolin Temple Europe in 2004. So 2004, my Shaolin journey started in this temple, and they gave me, after a while, they see your character, they give you a Shaolin name, and this name was Shen. Xiao Shen is like a little spirit. Yeah, so Shaolinfluencer, actually it does fit because I want to not just influence the people, I want to influence also the Shaolin world. And of course it comes with, once you are more in the present, you understand yourself, and it comes also with self-discipline, which is self-love, and that means you open your heart also. This means you're more peaceful, and this is the goal from all of us. We want to be peaceful. For sure, the Shaolin training and the combat training gives you some sort of toughness because you have to go through hell. So this make you tough. This make you tough for sure, because before you go to hell, you already go to hell. It means the training is hell already. And then you step in the ring to go to hell again. You understand? But after you finish, yourself is feel very freedom. So if I had only one choice, I would say the elbow.
Yeah.
Because there's so much secrets in the elbow, and a lot of people don't know about the elbow. But the elbow have some very special techniques. But I was actually the first novice monk ever in history of the Shaolin history that was not Chinese and not learning in China. Outside of China.
¿Cómo estás, Agus? Qué locura. Episodio 21. ¿Cómo estás, Nico? ¿Todo bien? Episodio 21. Yo muy contento y muy impaciente. Ahora les ponemos un poco en contexto lo que va a ir este episodio 21 porque it's going to be different. We're going to do it in English. Vamos a hacerlo en inglés, ¿ok? Entonces a partir de ahora vamos a presentarlo en inglés y luego le pondremos los subtítulos. ¿Por qué? Porque el invitado, today's guest, is an English speaker. So it's not English is not our mother tongue. So we will apologize at first. And with that say so, well, it's we've been a year ago at a Shaolin temple here in Europe, and we fell in love with everything there, with the kind of teaching, with the kind of thinking, and we've been trying to invite this guest because we fell in love with him, not in that way, but in a martial artist way, thinking, in the martial artist way, what the philosophy and all that stuff. And we're talking about Shen. He's German, a martial arts teacher at the Shaolin Temple in Europe, in Germany, Muay Thai fighter, street dancer, a terrific guest. Welcome, Shen. A superb guy. Shen, how are you doing?
Hello. Thank you for having me here. I'm very honored to be part of this podcast.
Thank you for coming.
I'm doing very good. I'm doing very good today. It's a nice Sunday, and I'm glad to be here now.
We can see you are like suit up for this occasion, right? You're having tea, is that right?
Correct. I'm having a Chinese tea. Always when I do some talks or when I talk to my students, we serve tea and drink tea is like a tradition in the Chinese.
It's great. I remember doing that and seeing the tea performance while being in Germany there the previous summer, and it was fantastic. Like seeing that at first sight, it was brilliant and to remember. So it's the first time we are doing this in English. So if you see ourselves, if you see myself or ours a little bit how do you say, nervous, or if we don't find the words, it's normal because it's not our mother tongue. So I apologize at first. So at first question would be, who is Shen? How do you start this journey on your martial art way?
So my original name is Mario, and I was born in Bulgaria. Mm-hmm. And my father is Southeast Asian, like Vietnamese, Cambodian, and my mom is Greek and Cameroon, African. But they met in Bulgaria, and then I was coming from Bulgaria when I was 8. I went to Germany with my father, and he was my first teacher. And after a while, I started practicing different martial arts like taekwondo and kickboxing. But then I went to back to the kung fu, and I found the Shaolin Temple Europe in 2004. So 2004, my Shaolin journey started in this temple, and they gave me, after a while, they see your character, they give you a Shaolin name, and this name was Shen. Xiao Shen is like a little spirit. Yeah. So the teachings base how they give the name is either it's something they see in you already, or it's something that they want you to become. Either way, yeah. So both ways. If somebody is like, for example, my master Shipu Yanlei, Yanlei Lei means thunder. So his character is very like he's a very strong character and physically also very strong. So where he steps, everything's shaking.
Like an earthquake.
Is this name thunder? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's one example.
Yeah. Great. So when you found the Shaolin Temple, you had a background in martial arts before entering the temple. But what was that you found in that temple and also in Kung Fu that you didn't find in other martial arts?
So I have to say how I started in the first place, fall in love with the whole Shaolin martial art is when I was a kid. My dad showed me all the Kung Fu movies. And it's weird because in the movies you always see those people get beat up, and then they go somewhere. They find Shaolin Temple. They come inside the temple. They learn the teachings, like the Buddhist teachings and the philosophical teachings. Also, they learn their martial art. And at the end of the movie, of course, they can revenge and fight stronger and fight back. And but also they teach the peaceful to be peaceful also, not just to destroy. Also they learn how to be a healer at the end. They want to do something positive with their life, and they really showed that in the movie. And I was like, yeah, I feel this is something nice. Even my path, I was not always spiritual or somebody that only do good stuff. Of course I was outside, maybe get in trouble or it happens, but you learn after you get older. You get smarter also. So for me, it was basically it was the movies, like the old Shaolin movies. They made me feel like I belong to the Shaolin Temple. And then I looked at it, I found it.
Yeah. That's amazing. And you are also a part of a 21st century, like a digital era, right? You are a very
right.
You are very used to uploading videos in Instagram, right? So this Shaolinfluencer name, how it came to your mind?
So Shaolinfluencer, the name is based on one of my friends. He like I wouldn't say like he's the most foolish guy I know, like always making jokes and fun. And he was like, you know what, just call yourself Shaolinfluencer for the internet and start making videos. And I've been doing videos before, but he was like, you need a cool name. And then he came up with this name. So I took it, and I'm very thankful he gave me this name. So yeah, so Shaolinfluencer actually does fit because since I have the Shaolin Temple background and the traditional martial arts, I also train modern stuff like calisthenics, parkour, the dancing, the breakdancing, the hip hop. And I see the movement as something very unique, and I want to not just influence the people, I want to influence also the Shaolin world, to see their old traditional teachings also combined maybe one day with something new, like, for example, capoeira, Muay Thai, whatever. All influence come together. And there, at the end, there's one. You understand? Like, there's no separation.
Yeah, it's like
what you feel, we all feel the same.
It's like a very open-minded, philosophy, and it's very, very useful in today's world because we live in a worldwide era. There's not just Japanese martial arts, from Thailand martial arts and so on, Western martial arts. It's all a worldwide, and we need to learn from one another. And from that would trigger the follow-up question that would be, when you started your journey at the Shaolin Temple here in Europe, what was and what is your main role at the moment, and what can you tell us about a day at the temple, so the audience that may not know gets an idea.
Yes. So at the moment, I am the teacher of the main teacher of the Shaolin Temple, with the name Laoshe is like a title. So under master, you have the Laoshe title, and the Laoshe title is like the teacher. And I teach Shaolin martial arts, like the Kung Fu, the traditional Kung Fu. You have some Tai Chi aspect. Also, I have the Qigong. I teach Qigong, meditation, and all the combat and self-defense areas also like my main part here in the temple. So I like also the Chinese kickboxing called Sanda or Sanshu. The old term is Sanshu. Now they call it Sanda. It's like a kickboxing rule. You have gloves. You have the protection. You play it on a mat ground with mats. It's soft, and we do throwing like in the judo. So it's a very interesting martial art. Yeah, for combat martial arts. Yeah.
And how is it today there in the temple?
The day in the Shaolin Temple, we have a strict structure. Like we have no choice. Like you wake up at 6:30, you go do running, then you come back, you do meditation, you have the breakfast, then 2 more hours training, then maybe you start to have like some work that you have to do in the temple, like cleaning or go buy groceries, then make the food, and so on and so on. Then you have lunchtime, you have a small break, and then the training continues for another 2 hours, then 1 hour break, and then another 2 hour, then it's a dinner, and then maybe another 2 hour training. So it's very strict. And in between, we have like small ceremonies, like small routines that we keep maintain. It's also to keep us more focused on the moment. Let's say like this. It's a training of understanding the presence.
I remember before having, for example, lunch, that you have to wait for your turn, and you have to hear like from the very moment you hear the gong, like bong, you have to remain in silence, right, and wait for your turn to have your supper or your meal. And that brings me to the next question. How is the philosophy of a Shaolin monk? As you were saying, of living the very present or the very moment. How can you explain to a non-familiar people that is not in connection with this kind of thinking or doesn't know about it?
Well, Shaolin Temple became very famous because of the Chan, also called in Japanese the Zen. It's the practical meditation part. Means, for example, the Japanese took it very in a way like Zazen is like sitting meditation, but I think not it's a false interpretation, but I think how the Shaolin teach it is more like the meditative state should sit in you. So all types of whatever you do during the day should be mindful. Means you try to be aware of the present moment, what you are doing in this moment. This is what the teaching is the main part. From there, everything else you will get there easier because you're more focused, you're more understanding of the moment. Same like, for example, combat. If you are 1 second not aware of what you're doing, you make mistake, you get hit. Or let's say parkour, you have to jump from one house to the other house. If you have one moment of doubting, thinking or something, you can fall, and then it's bad. So you're very in the moment. You're in the now at this exactly time you jump to go over. And this is the main part of the teaching, I think, in the Shaolin. And of course, it comes with, once you are more in the present, you understand yourself, and it comes also with self-discipline, which is self-love, and that means you open your heart also. This means you're more peaceful, and this is the goal from all of us. We want to be peaceful.
So fantastic. That's very interesting. One of the main reasons we do this podcast is to attract people not only for the martial arts point of view, but also from the philosophy point of view. And what you did mention is exactly what we try to to put ourselves now into this podcast, right? So the next question would be, you also travel the world, right? You're a teacher in the martial arts in the Shaolin temple in Europe, but you also do travel the world. What do? You also mentioned on the backstage that you have been to Thailand, but we know you also have been recently to California. What is your main purpose on these journeys? What can you tell us about? You do fight, you teach. What can you tell us about?
Yes. So when I travel back to Thailand and there's it is not connected to the Shaolin temple, like a retreat or something, I might do my own training at the Muay Thai gym, for example, and then I get prepared. Like I go there for 1 or 2 weeks, I train, and then I prepare myself to have a Muay Thai fight, for example. I enjoy fighting. Even I'm 40 years old. I started very late with the combat, like 5 years ago. And before that, I just traditional martial arts, more like for show aspect. I like to do the shows, break stuff and make fancy stuff or cool videos or whatever. But now I found that I like the combat also. And that's why I travel to Thailand, I train, then I go fight. But when I traveled to California, it was for a celebrity. And it's Jada Pinkett Smith, I can say. And there I was trying to show them what we do in the Shaolin temple. So they was very interested in it, especially the Qigong and the Kung Fu and also the combat. So me and Shifu Hang Yi and me, we traveled to California and stayed there for a while and tried to bring the Shaolin culture to the Hollywood.
So you met Jada Pinkett and Will Smith, right?
Yeah.
And how was that about? They are very friendly, right?
Oh yeah. Very, very, very nice family. Also very, very spiritual. Also, which surprised me a lot. Yeah. Very good family. I will always would go back there to see them for sure.
So when you also told us that you perform dancing, right? You're a dancer, a street dancer, and you also perform like break dance and all this cool stuff with very difficult movements. Do you find ease as you are a very specific dancer when doing these Shaolin katas, if I can call it that way, with all these jumps, all these tricks? Is it easier for you since you are a street dancer?
I started the movement training actually very late. I wasn't, as a kid, I was always active. I was climbing, playing outside and stuff. So I had a foundation already. I've been very aware of my body. But when I started the dancing and the martial arts, it came like together. And the breakdancing actually been created by the boys in New York watching Kung Fu movies. So they imitated the Kung Fu and bringing it to the dance. That's how breakdance actually got created. And so, yeah, it has a connection. For me, it was easy. Some stuff that I do in the breakdance, I could use in the martial art. Some stuff that I did in martial arts, I could use in my breakdance. So it became my style and character. You understand? So because I have rhythm and some type of flow in my movements, my Shaolin forms became also more rounded and more clear and more I would say flashy, and very explosive because I had the dancing part. Opposite, my dancing was very clear and strong because of the martial art background. So it came together. It balanced itself in both ways. So
like
yes,
Shen,
it did.
Right?
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
And like going back if you set a timeline, going back from this moment you started your journey as a martial artist. What would you say it was the best martial art that influenced in yourself?
The best martial art that influenced myself in what kind of way? Like the movement or in the
spiritual way, or that made the one that made you tougher? We can set those questions.
For sure, the Shaolin training and the combat training gives you some sort of toughness because you have to go through hell, especially if you get prepared for a fight. So everybody that goes in the ring to fight, they know what kind of training they have to do to get there, to get a certain level to be able to go in the ring and fight. So this make you tough. This make you tough for sure, because before you go to hell, you already go to hell. Means the training is hell already. Then you step in the ring to go to hell again. You understand? But after you finish, yourself is feel very freedom. When you've done all this, what you wanted to do, and after you come outside the ring, whatever, you win or not, but you feel free. You feel very free. Yeah.
It's like you could describe it like the way you prepare for a fight is the same way you prepare as a Shaolin Temple student and also teacher your mind, right? It's like maybe this a similar journey, but spiritual and physical, right?
Yeah, it comes together. I mean, if you can, for example, in the Shaolin Temple, we have the hardening techniques or whatever type of strong training where you start suffering. If you can overcome this makes you mentally stronger. Opposite, the mental strong. You have to have some mental strength to overcome the pain from the training. Same way, like it one feeds the other. It's like consciousness feeds the energy and the energy feeds the consciousness. It's the same way. You know, it push you in both sides. It's never just, there is no separation actually, you know. So it comes together. Body, mind, soul is all one. And you learn it in the Shaolin Temple especially, or the traditional martial arts. They have it very strong with the spiritual side, compared to just competitive sport, combat sports. Sometimes there is no philosophical background, but they still get to that point also one day or later, you know. When they have the biggest challenge, that's when everything else becomes more clear also.
And what type of hardening exercise do you perform during your stay at the temple?
Me personally, I like just hit the back with sand or you know, whatever type of back, especially my fists and shins, hit the heavy back. This is already hardening enough, but you can specialize in hardening and then become very strong, harden your all parts of the bone, become very thick. After years of training, you can hit metal. I'm not at this era where I hit metal already. This is very, very high technique, very high skill. For me, no. For me, it's enough that I can hit and have no pain, that I don't hurt myself. Yeah, this is the first step. For a fighter, this is important, that you can hit and don't break yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, during your temple and during your journeys, is there something you remember with how do you say, with a special memory that you can tell us about? So some maybe anecdote that make you richer in mind, but also in spirit and physical training. Maybe you found someone in Thailand that teach you some technique that you didn't forget. What can you tell us about?
Yeah, I see where it goes. So there is for sure one very special situation for me. I mean, there's plenty of situations. Almost every day there's something special in the training that I do. But one time when my Shifu Yanlei from UK, when he was here for the summer camp, you know, there's the old text when I read about Zen Buddhism, and they say the Zen masters say, show me how you clap with one hand. Or can you make the sound when you clap with one hand? I don't remember exactly, but I always thought about, I could never find answer, you know. And then in the summer camp when Shifu Yanlei was here, we performed something. He showed on me some technique for the people, and then all of a sudden, poop! I get one slap in my face. You know, maybe I was not aware or something, whatever. But at this moment, I was like, ooh, I was up, and then this shot in my head, like, oh, so this is the sound of one hand clapping. You understand? So this opened. In this moment, I had my answer. Yeah,
it was a connection.
Interesting moment. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And another question I was keen on asking was, for yourself, which is the deadliest weapon a man could have with his body? I don't know if you understand the question. For example, if you perform a martial art, a certain martial art, or different martial art as you did throughout your life, which weapon, I don't know, for example, your hand, your feet, your shin, which one would you choose as your little weapon?
This is a good question. I never thought about this because you know, I don't remember. No, I do remember, but I don't know if you ever heard this part when Bruce Lee said, if you really want to be a fighter, you have to make every part of your body a weapon.
Yeah.
But to be back to this question, if I had no choice, or if I had only one choice, I would say the elbow.
Yeah.
Because there's so much secrets in the elbow, and a lot of people don't know about the elbow. But the elbow have some very special techniques, especially as a monk doing this posture. Elbow is very dangerous.
Yeah, it has a full. You're in peace. You're here, peace, but this is little. Peace, little.
Yeah.
Something.
But still, like human is human. The most dangerous part of the human is always his brain.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah. If you everything can become a weapon if you have the right brain and heart. Yeah.
Yeah. That's another part of the podcast. Then we can talk about it. The mentality you have, because it's like it's a connection with the mother nature, right? As I can remember from our stay in the temple, you told us that you didn't eat meat. You always trained like in barefoot to feel the ground. So if you the next questions we can talk about this a little further. But I don't know if I was about to ask a question. Yeah, no, it was just one comment regarding the elbow. Is something that, if you notice, it has a full range of mobility regarding the shoulder, and it's a right extension from the shoulder, and it has not a 360 movement, but a very wide range of angles rather than the fist, right? With the fist you can go not many straight, not many angles, but with the elbow you can. And that makes it in short range. It makes it a little weapon. As you were
short
saying.
range for sure, and also elbow doesn't make a lot of mistakes because it cannot go too far. Right. But this is, some people will know what I mean. Some they don't know, they can come to me. I'll tell them.
That's another question before going to the philosophy part of the podcast. How can a normal and a common guy like myself, for example, become a monk or start his journey or her journey in the temple? How can we start it? If all of a sudden I come up with that idea that I want to be a monk, how could I start?
Oh, so the procedure to become a monk is not so easy. So we have a discipleship. It starts with 1 year. You go to the temple. If they take you as a disciple, you stay here 1 year. At the moment, we have also four or five boys that stay here for 1 year. After the 1 year, they have to do another year of discipleship. And then after those 2 years of discipleship, they can choose to become novice. Novice monk means this is like the pre-state of becoming a real monk. And this is about a couple of years, maybe fast, some faster, some less fast, depends on your character and on your training. But then you can decide to become real monk, full-time monk, let's say, yeah. Or after the 2 year discipleship, you can also become a master student. Then you go more the path of lay monk. So you still belong to the Shaolin temple, but you live worldly. So for me, I was a novice monk before. I was actually the first novice monk ever in history of the Shaolin history that was not Chinese and not learning in China, outside of China. Yeah, so back then I was like I call it the experiment because I was the first one, yeah. But then I decided to just stay like teacher. I make my Lauscher degree, and then I decided, okay, I go off the novice monkship, and now I'm a lay monk. Means I still belong to the temple, but outside the temple, I live like worldly life. But the rules inside the temple, I still follow the rules. As soon as I enter the temple, same rules like the monks. Yeah.
So we have to, I don't know, just send an email, for example, or just arrive.
Yeah, you have, there's like an application in the homepage. There's like they show exactly you have to have some type of application. for discipleship, and then they invite you. Then you have like a trial for like, I think like a week. You can try out, and then you get invited again. Then you have like 3 months. You stay 3 months, and after that you can still decide to say, no, it's not for me, then I go. Or you say, yes, I'm going to do the discipleship, and then your year starts.
Man, that's great.
Yeah. I mean, that's one way, but it's in our school, it's like this, like in our temple, it's like this. But I don't know, in other Buddhist temples, maybe it's a different way. They just say, yeah, at the beginning of the year, you can become Buddhist monk. But Buddhist monk it's not like the Shaolin warrior monk, yeah? So it's different teaching. Not the Buddhist part is different teaching, but they don't have the physical part, like the Kung Fu and all the martial arts stuff. Yeah, so it's a bit different, yeah. We are like sometimes like very military ways also.
Yeah. I kind of remember like training in barefoot and then arriving at the tent or the hotel. I don't know, the cabin we were staying, and my foot were like turned red all of a sudden because of training on the background. So I was about to ask you, this philosophy you got. I think is a very it's like a wholesome philosophy in the temple.
Mm-hmm.
I remember not eating meat at all. All the food was vegan.
Vegetarian.
Yeah, sorry, vegetarian food.
Yes.
Then you are like, you feel very connected with the nature that surrounds you when you are in the temple. Everything is so peaceful. So how can you tell us? What can you tell us about this connection that some outsider can feel as soon as you step a foot inside the temple? You feel this connection. It's very magical.
So the most time the Asian temples are somewhere more in nature, away from the cities, because then you have more. You can focus more on yourself. It's like a smaller world without all the distractions from outside, and it comes automatically with nature, because nature is very peaceful in a way. Like if you watch nature is like a phenomenon. You watch the sky in the night, you watch the storm, the whatever, all the grass and the wind, whatever, all this stuff that happens in nature is very calming and peaceful. So it teach you already about the present moment. And in the city you're more distracted, but it's not that in the city you cannot get the same understanding. It is not. It's just a small world for itself, where it's easier to focus. But you can also do that in a modern city. It doesn't matter. That's up to you. You understand? That's up to you. But I say it comes with it. When you think of a Shaolin Buddhist monk, automatically you see somebody sitting in nature with a nice background and very peaceful, yeah, and maybe the Japanese flute in the background. This is the typical what you see. But yeah, this is the one side of the Zen Buddhism, or the Buddhist Shaolin monks or whatever. But same way, you sit in the loud train, sitting there with no normal clothes, the mindset doesn't change. Your awareness is still the same. You understand? It's still the same present moment. So there's no difference. But it's just one way is easier somehow. Being in the temple around with the nature, it's just easier to focus.
That's very for me. It's very powerful, because it relies in, as you were saying, in whatever you do. It doesn't matter if you're doing martial arts or you're working in an office. It's if you're up to the present moment, you put all your energy in that moment, and that's when magic happens, right? Whether you are a UFC fighter or you are a CEO, or maybe just putting up content like we are doing at the moment, if you're present, if you're at that very present, if you're at that very moment, that's when you put all your brain, all your stuff on that point. And I totally agree. And that's something, and that was something I come up with in a renewed and in a something updated when I came from the temple there. It was like a shift in my mind and something.
How was your experience when you came back from the temple? How you felt?
Magical. We fell in love. Yeah. We felt we felt great. Yeah, we have a very wonderful time. It was like we put it like, well, our vacation would be to go to the temple, right? But it was like instead of a vacation, I would put like a retreat, right? Because you didn't feel like a vacation, it was right, but we felt like an update of our mindset. When I remember that when I came, I worked better than before I went to the temple. For me, it was like a change of mentality. I also wrote a book on this last year. That's the way my mentality shifted when I came from the temple.
Awesome.
For me, in my eyes, was I didn't practice martial arts until the very moment I came from the temple. So I started my journey in martial arts since July 2023 that we finished our retreat in the temple. So it was a very it shaped our mind, the experience. Yes. It was like 3 days, but they were very tough in terms of. It was your fault that they were very tough.
Nice.
You were our trainer, and due to your fault, it was very tough because I remember it was like 8 hours training a day, so it was amazing. And that's all I can say. It's like a mind shape. You shape your mind in a different way, and if you want to change your mind, I totally recommend going to the temple.
To the temple, yeah, nice. And it keeps going, yeah. Every day, we have to grow, because sadly, when you get older, you also lose your I would call it inner fire or inner child, because you remember when you was a child and they tell you, oh, you know what, your parents say tomorrow we go to do something exciting, and 8 o'clock you're already ready to go, in the morning before your parents even up, you say, come on, let's go, I'm ready. And now we don't have this. We wake up, same old day again, same go to work, blah blah blah. You lose the inner fire, and that's when the energy goes down. Don't do that. Always keep this fire up. Every day is exciting because you don't know what's happening this day. Yeah, that's why you wake up, you say, yeah, today is new day. Let's see how we grow. Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, that's the way to go. Yeah, it's mind blowing because it doesn't give you like encourage, or maybe like, how do you say, like instant motivation. It's like a way of endurance, motivation throughout all your life, not just a very moment, right? It gives you the other word would be discipline, right? That's the way to go, to be not motivated at one specific moment, but to have a fuel that runs throughout all your life, right? That's the way I see it, and it's very powerful. Shen, to come up with the last segment of the podcast, we would like to ask you a couple of questions that we also ask for our guests. So sure. The first one would be, if you could speak with that younger version of yourself, with that young Mario before you were Shen, what would you say to him?
There's nothing to say. I get the question. For everybody that would get this question, they would now start thinking, what is there you could do, but what is there we can do, I would teach him about the now, for sure. Yeah, I would tell him to be aware of the now, of the present moment. Yeah, everything else will fall in the right place.
That's amazing.
Yeah, be in the now, open your heart, for sure.
That's amazing. And the other question is, if you could ask for a martial artist or a certain personality to be the next guest here in a future episode in this podcast, which one would you recommend us to bring?
Oh, now I have to think. I mean, there's so many. But you know which martial arts I very enjoy, not just even practice, also just watching. It's capoeira.
Oh, yeah.
Always been since a kid. I always used to love capoeira. And maybe if you find, there's so many good teachers, but if you find someone in Spain, for sure, this one.
Okay.
The one so we can have it in Spanish. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you want to go international, I think then would be Brazil in the area Bahia. That capoeira, the people in Bahia. Yeah. This is this I would like to see for sure. I would watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And who is also very interesting, but I don't know if he likes to do podcasts, but my master, Shifu Yanlei, for sure has something to tell the world. Something interesting.
Right.
Say again?
They're totally invited to participate in a future episode if he's willing to share his thoughts.
I hope so. He will. Yeah, you should ask him.
Okay.
Try. Why not?
Great.
You cannot lose.
To make
you can only win. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. So, well, Shen, just to give you we are thankful for having you here. It was like a very nice time. The way we recall how it was to be at the temple with you. We learned a lot those 3 days at the temple, and during this time when chatting with you, we also learned a lot. We reinforced our motivation. What we try to do with this podcast is to bring people and martial artists the way they think, the way they share their philosophy, and to bring it to the world, to be a better world, not just learning to throw fists and punches and kicks, but also to think and to start living the way they do. So just thank you for your time. Thank you very much. I hope you do it.
Also, the last thing maybe to say is in the Shaolin, we have the saying of demon hand and Buddha heart. I mean, Shi Yi mentioned this many times in his videos, but I will also say it again. There's also, from other martial artists, they say, if you enter somewhere with the fists, it's a different thing. If you enter with the open hand, maybe the whole world will be yours.
Totally true.
Yeah.
Because
this is better than going inside like this. You have to think about it, yeah? That's why it's all from the heart.
Okay. That's true. Thank you very much, Shen. It was a pleasure having you here. Thank you very much. Yeah, for the audience, thank you for being there. And the first episode in English, I hope you enjoyed. I hope we may explain ourselves. And yeah, we're looking forward to having more guests in English, maybe to give a jump into other types of languages. We will also put the subtitles here for the Spanish listeners, and also for the English speakers or other type of language. We will also put the subtitles in both English and Spanish in YouTube. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're seeing each other. Bye.